Whew. Okay. Sorry. Conniption aside, we do get ourselves here into the next series, the next game. Quick, just round offs again to Redshift 1, new sub hype, as well as I684396663 also just subscribed to the channel.
Woo!
And if ever a subscriber has looked like Rifkin made a fake account to sub to himself, that would be one of them.
Yeah, whatever. Yours would be like Rifkin is the best.
I know. I'd be trying to counter off that guy who like keeps coming back with like Rifkin is a fatty as all his names. When does that finally get IP behind them? Like, damn. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us here for the Ting Open. Again, a lot more games ahead of us, but of course, all made possible thanks to Ting. So if you guys haven't yet, make sure to hit up Ting, bttv.ting.com, and claim that $25 in credit. And of course, as mentioned before, Jesse is now lurking in chat, so if you guys got questions about Ting, you can take them to him. And of course, even furthermore, if you've signed up with Ting and you still want to support BaseTradeTV, you can ask him about getting that $25 in credit if you didn't get it before. He's been really awesome about this, so hit him up, guys. But that being said, I don't have production power on. I can't do anything right. Top right side of the map, it's going to be the Blue Terran, Team Liquid's Bunny.
The bottom right, as the Red Zerg, it is Team Liquid's Snute.
So yeah, sad face team kill. Hashtag not best of 69.
Yep.
Now, I actually got to say, a small little funny note here is there was a hard fight for Bunny, right? Where he couldn't use all the builds he wanted to versus Naniwa, and that may or may not have had a determining factor why he's here. Maybe he could use all his cool builds and still loses to Naniwa, right? I'm not saying it would happen, but let's just assume for a moment that it did. There's another aspect to this where if Bunny wins this match and a laser beats Naniwa, like if I can call all my shots today right? If a laser beats Naniwa and Bunny beats Snute, that would mean a rematch. And then it wouldn't matter how bad Bunny plays, because we all know the curse is what matters the most, and if the curse of the brackets comes into play, then Bunny will win.
That's a good point. I have another point, though. So if Bunny ends up losing here, and a laser beats Naniwa on the winners, which I guess we're all just assuming that's going to happen, and then it goes on to Naniwa versus Snute. Snute was actually the one that kicked him out of the qualifiers.
Oh, okay, so I thought that was a laser who did that. All right.
Snute and Healer, actually.
That's right. I forgot about Healer. I love Healer.
Yep.
That son of a gun. All right, so that will actually be a very interesting match for me then to see how that will play out. But regardless, we'll see how this one goes first. Again, TvZ. And what's great about both of these players is, okay, let's assume for a moment, just a small moment here, we're gonna like Rifkin conspiracy, put a tinfoil hat on, where neither of them can play all their builds. Let's say they're both so worried about hiding IEM and stuff, but they really don't want to give what's going away. I was going to say a standard TvZ between these two is still actually going to be very entertaining in my eyes, and I think very well and closely matched. Even if one player like Bunny has to not show builds, or Snute just does things like this, I mean, I do think this will be a good series. So I'm really excited for this all around.
I agree. This is kind of like a pressure overload drop. You don't see a lot more links committed. He's not also going into the natural with 16 more lings, although that could do a lot of damage. It's just these ones, and he's going into roaches afterwards in a third base. It was not scouted by Bunny, but he does have units on the high ground. Bunny's going to see that it was a Widowmine drop prepared, by the way, so also some nice scouting.
You mean Snute?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Snute.
I mean, Bunny definitely sees that he was going for Widowmine drop.
Yeah, he even decided to go for it himself.
It would be really weird if he didn't see it, because he'd be playing blindfolded at the root house or something. You remember that
I
weird
think
thing
I pressed
he did?
Widowmine, but who knows?
Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, Snoot's got some queens in position to deal with this initially, but the Marines can actually take on these queens. There's no transfuses available, so walking on forward, yeah, the medevac's brought back because he doesn't want Snoot focusing it down, but the Widowmine plants itself. It's going to go off. Doesn't do much, but the Marines kill one of the queens, and that's pretty nice.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad aggression. Saves the medevac most importantly in the Marines. Thanks to M895C for resubbing 4 months in a row.
Yay!
Clap, 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 clap.
Thanks, Zumba, carrying me in the sub shoutouts. Thank you.
You're welcome. Actually, we did terrible with them yesterday. I guess, like, we actually got to them, which is an improvement, as opposed to just forgetting entirely, but we definitely did not get them when they happened.
Yeah, people are like, Rifkin needs to shut the fuck up and zombie group talk, and then I'm not there, and that's what happens, guys, alright?
We just consolidated the shoutouts to in-between games, almost like what other casters do. Nope. No other casters actually shout out subs. That's the joke.
And it was a joke, but you made me feel bad about living with it, so thank you.
Why?
Okay, drop doesn't get much done here for Bunny, unfortunately. I don't think it was intended to either, just a little bit to harass if he could afford it. Back at home, his production is starting to kick in. There we go, reactors and tech labs, you name it. So he's going to start having units sooner than later. But yeah, one of the big things for this. Ooh, Bunny's going to start boosting over. One of the big things about this is 2 tanks can do a pretty considerable amount of damage. It sounds weird to really say that out loud because, again, they're thinking this game's been so weird as far as the way it's evolved. Not this match, but StarCraft 2. But 2 tanks can do a pretty nice amount of damage. Problem is, this is like the one map where it's actually kind of hard to do considerable amount of damage. Like, little bits of harass can be cool. He'll pick off a queen or two, but you actually don't have the terrain to abuse like you do on the other maps. Like, to actually put these tanks on the low ground, they can only barely reach the extractor, like the end.
Yeah. If Snute had taken the 3rd pocket base, then maybe you could also go high ground, low ground with them. But even then, the double queens on both sides to take care of it. This is actually probably the best position you can find. And if you got the extractor, that wouldn't be that bad.
Oh.
I mean, the extractor can be important.
Yo, Snute can't actually click over the terrain there. Loses one of the tanks, unfortunately. But that was kind of a cool spot for Bunny. I guess the Liberator tried to come in while this was going on, but didn't actually get any action. A lot of focus was on those tanks.
Snute has quite a few roaches on the way, and he does have 1-1, so maybe trying to hit this attack here. Bunny has tanks, but does not have a ton of bio, and doesn't have upgrades for his bio either. So if Snute did go for an attack, it would probably do well. It would certainly stop the 3rd base if it was trying to get on location, but actually the 3rd base has only just started for Bunny. So Snute's going to go up to an infestation pit instead, not bother attacking. Certainly has enough units to defend. And the infestors will definitely add a big part to the engagements. Good fungals, with or without passion glands. He could wait on that, probably. But if he does, then Bunny's going to be the one who's very careful. It looks like he's ready to push out. He's got tanks loaded up. His upgrades are finishing. That is to say, his stim and combat shields. Otherwise, he's down in upgrades. 12 more drones from Snutes. This game could be going on for a little longer.
It is a little bit slower to the ramp up, but the action's about to hit for certain. That's a lot of Ravagers. Now, without the fungal growth, it doesn't guarantee the hits, but it's still, the tank on the ground has to be lifted up. You pick off a Liberator that's sieged up. You force positional changes out of a Terran player. And that's where these Ravagers are going to be really, really, not just nice, but necessary, I suppose.
Well, there's the attack from Bunny, who will be getting his 3rd base on location behind this, like actually sending it over.
The timing on this is actually pretty sick. As he comes on in, like, infestors aren't ready to go yet. Ravagers and Roaches going to struggle to deal with even just the first 4 tanks before the bios even evolve. Oh, walks into some crystal bios?
Little bit. Almost gets 2 Medivacs with tanks in it. That's really what he wanted. But attacking in here without those infestors...
that wasn't too bad, but now he's sitting underneath the Liberator, unfortunately. He does get taken up by the Queens. Thank you, Queens. But still, bleeds out a lot to this. Now, of course, we got some Lings on the way. Maybe we'll get some surrounds on the tanks. And the Lings aren't too bad, but they're without upgrades. Just speed. Yeah,
that's true. He does have more roaches on the way, but yeah, he's been getting a lot of stuff that's not helping him right now. The 2-2, the infestors that aren't going to end up popping, and I can see why he took the engagement. He was close to beating this back and then having that peace of mind to get to infestors, but started losing heavily on the end. But now Bunny's starting to lose his tanks. So very close. Bunny did get a 3rd. This isn't entirely all in, although he was on 2 bases for quite a long time. And those upgrades are about to finish up.
The Spire is certainly interesting. Going to the Hive, of course, but the Spire, whether this was like for later Broodlords or maybe it's just Corruptors for now to deal with the Medivacs and the Liberators. Snute is struggling to keep Bunny at bay. Ooh! Crucible's almost killed the Medivac.
Yeah, damn. First infestors coming out, but only 1. Those upgrades are what's looking a lot better. Snute trying to go for a Hive during all this aggression is a little, risky, but he does have the army supply to support it now.
Yeah. Actually, with the infestors finally coming out, he might be able to start landing some of these Corrosive Vials, but he's lost so many of these Ravagers over these fights. Does take out a tank, though. Gets the second tank as well. Not too bad, starts pushing this back.
We haven't really noticed how many Medivacs have gone down. Those 2 are the new reinforcements, but he's lost the rest that were actually carrying those tanks around, and he's about to lose this one.
Oh, the fungal growth alone will kill it. The tanks on the low ground didn't disappear. Just a little bit awkward because you can't see it. Attacking the main, though. Marines are culling down these roaches. Now, Snute's not doing this without counterattacking. He does have actually a pretty decent-sized attack, but with tanks set up defensively on the high ground, It's going to be really hard to actually break in. Now, you might actually be able to force the command center to lift, which is cool, but there won't be a follow-up to that. Like, this command center should not die from this attack.
If he could go ahead and just clean up this two medevacs, oh my god, it's gonna die. Well, you're right, it should not have, but it did. And that's probably a game. Even without the command center going down, I was actually feeling a lot better for Snute, who has Hive. He has the ability to get infestors right off the bat with fungals, and is going to a Greater Spire too. But to kill the command center is pretty bad.
So, just because it is super current events, IEM just announced that Bly is going to be replacing Vortex at IEM.
Oh, super current events.
That is like minutes ago current events. That's actually kind of cool because we're a big fan of Bly, so that's going to be awesome. We will certainly give him some cheers and whatnot.
Totally. Look, it's in the finals again.
I'm a little bit surprised this went straight to Broodlords, by the way. Like, Broodlords you will see against Terran, but this wasn't like Ultras first into like a slow game. Like, he is going straight to Broodlords over Ultralisks. Now, that's not a bad choice at all, but it is kind of funny to see that be the case, because I don't think Bunny's going to have anything to do with those. Oh, Crystal Valve's going to be so good.
Okay, almost the second tank.
How did that not kill the second tank?
I don't know. Snoots, he could have gone for just more Roaches and Ravages and probably overwhelmed Bunny, but he's going for the Broodlords to really solidify that win, and this is Bunny just praying, I guess, that Snute does make a mistake. Like, if he caught him while the Broodlords aren't quite made, but the Corruptors are, then maybe he could actually have the bigger army ground army, and maybe that could have happened, but we have Broodlords on the way. The Corruptors, even if they weren't Broodlords, still help out because they take out the medevacs. And Bunny's definitely lost his first game.
Never say never, Zombie Grub.
I didn't say never.
Never say never.
Okay. Anyways. Gets pincered a little bit here. Tries to take the best engagement that he can, but that was most of his army. GG!
Alright, Snute will take that first game here in the best of 5. Like, you're really obsessed over this. It's just a joke, man. Like, it's like that whole Bob Saget thing with, like, I'm not saying Bob Saget raped and killed like a girl or whatever in like 1990, and you're like, okay, but it didn't happen. I know, and I'm not saying that.
Yeah, that's what that's like.
Who was it that said that? That was because that's the roast of Bob Saget, right? That was he's got that really annoying voice. Iago, what's the actor's name?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Gilbert Godfrey. I mean, God damn it! It's like I couldn't. It's like on the tip of my tongue.
I see.
If you guys actually haven't seen, first up, the roast of Bob Saget was hilarious. I did not expect it to get like as crazy as it did, but roasting in general. Martha Stewart got like super high with like Snoop Dogg when they were roasting Justin Bieber. Like, I love watching roasts. I think they're hilarious, and I wish roasting was a more common thing.
I've never watched a single one.
Really? Oh, dude, it's like it's the best kind of shots fired when it's like a good roast. This is why we have the food emote, man. I'm telling you.
It's true. I'm just really glad it is a hamburger.
It's so adorable. You look so happy eating it too. You're just like yum 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 yum.
I suppose the other thing that it was.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TING Open. We are, of course, getting into game number 2 in this best of 5 losers match. It's unfortunate because we'll determine the fate of one of these players. One will be gone from the tournament entirely. The other will have a chance to play against the loser of Naniwa and a Laser, but we'll have to find out that one as they have to play that series still. So spawning here in the bottom right, he's up 1 point currently. It's going to be the red Zerg player, Team Liquid's Snute.
In the top right, as the blue Terran, he is Liquid Bunny. I guess add one more person that's going to Poland for no reason. In Controller's tweeted. Bye, puppy.
Wait, what about In Control?
He's going to Poland.
Oh.
You're talking about people going to Poland for like no reason.
At first I was like, what, to play? Oh, no, probably to cast. That would make more sense. I was just like, what the...
Man, it's been like 2.5 years since In Control's last... Oh, maybe even longer than 2.5 years. Last like attempt to go to an event where he was playing as a pro. It's been a long time. I think the last one was at MLG. Probably MLG Anaheim.
I mean, I will say this. I actually really enjoy Control's commentary. I know some people don't like his jokes and they find him a little too silly.
Yeah, I love it.
I always have a great time when he's on the cast. Even when it's awkward and uncomfortable, it's still funny.
Yeah, I think so.
But,
you can get a little...
but so us piecing the information, no official caster lineup. We know that Killaris is doing Heroes, so it's probably not doing
So
StarCraft.
is Wolf.
Yeah, the Wolf announcement kind of caught me a little off guard. I was like, what? I thought he was going for StarCraft. But okay, hang on. So it's probably Nathanias. It's probably in Control. Who else can we speculate here, really?
Apollo.
Is Pig
Todd,
playing? I know Pig's flying out. So is Pig playing, or do you think he's commentating?
Pig. I'm not sure about Pig. Who else? It's all going to be like pro gamers, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I imagine at least. I don't know. It's kind of interesting because actually, just thinking on the scope of things, with Apollo not really being a full-time caster anymore, and really him and Killaris being the only people I can think of, Artosis and Tasteless, there aren't really any people who are like just casters anymore, you know? Like it's all pros who are either retired or swapped over. I guess you could argue Nathanias as well in that category as like a caster, just purely caster.
Yeah, I think he's a caster. I mean, he's obviously a good player.
Yeah, he's a great player. There's no question about that.
He's not the next pro.
But see, for me it's weird because like I really look at Nathanias as more of like a streamer more than a caster, I guess, a lot of the time.
Really?
That's not to say anything negative about him. It's just that he's got
I
such
get
a
what you
great
mean.
stream.
I just think he does do a good job about having a streaming personality, which is a good streaming personality, and having his casting personality, which is a good caster.
It's the dank memes, dude. It's the dank memes. And I guess we could drone on about casting all day, but the game is finally taking some shape. Bunny's sending several Reapers across the map, but this is 4 Reapers? No, this is more than 4. This is going 5 Reapers? He's still dedicating to this. So this is actually a little bit questionable, because if you go in 3, you're like, okay, it's Lirlac, you want to get some harass done, there's an opportunity for it, sure. If you're going to go 5, if you're going to go 7, if you're going to go more, and I really don't want to see him go more than 5, then you're going to be delaying your factory, your starport, you're really going to have just no follow-up to this.
It's going up to 6, so are you disappointed in your son?
I mean, kind of. There's the Marine, okay.
You know, sometimes though we did see this like a month or 2 ago, just the different variations of Reaper openers, you know, 1, 2, 3 racks, proxy, and then we also saw the reactor openers, and yeah, if it was going well, you'd get more than 2. If it was going really well, I guess you would continue, but I don't think this is it hasn't done anything so far except kill a couple of lings that were on the middle of the map, not expecting this, you know, like I wouldn't say it was doing really well. And I don't know if Snute is reacting to this with roaches, or he just wanted to go roaches anyways. It is Lirlac crests, where I anticipate roaches like 85% of the time. But
yeah, that's about an accurate estimate.
Yeah. Dude, why are you calling me dude? Because he's a dude, she's a dude.
Because I believe
We're
in breaking
dudes.
the gender barrier, and I think stereotyping dudes as guys is just super sexist. And
It's not how that works.
okay, whatever, dudette. Actually, I've always had a problem with saying dudette because it sounds like Odette. Like, it just sounds like I'm saying like a completely wrong name. Dude's like a generic term, like, hey guys, what's up? What's up, dudes? Like, you know, like it's not.
Yeah, I've always liked dudes.
Even though guy is literally guys, it's not also like I'm speaking to only guys, men, when I say it. But regardless, chat can make what of it as it likes. 3 bunkers were placed down, so Bunny kind of set for the attack, but he's not repairing said bunkers, so auto repair on the SCVs is making them repair each other like idiots! Idiots! And the bunker goes down, but he is able to push this back. Queen's on the front lines, though. That's a little bit surprising. I don't think Bunny was expecting that either.
Queen attack that you usually do against Protoss, but against Terran, I mean, it looks really silly. Especially because Bunny's prepared against it, I think is the silliest part, when you really just... I would not have anticipated this, but Bunny did because of all the Reapers that he got.
This if that first bunker went down, or didn't go down, he wouldn't have been able to take this position so easily behind the mineral lines. But this is really screwing with Bunny and Snute. Just kind of like, this looks almost a little bit trolly in the way it's come down, but this is actually a great attack.
Yeah, it's doing well so far, but Bunny is close to being able to hold it. His stim's still not close to done, but it's getting there. His medevacs are on the way, which is pretty important. And, you know, mind you, that this is pretty all-in from Snute, who brought his queens. He didn't have a third base. He's really low on drones.
He's got a ton of queens behind this. I bet he follows this up with a layer into a night as well.
Maybe he's on the option.
He's got like 6 queens back at home on top of those 3.
He's gonna just bring the queens, he realized it. But the queens from the main are gonna take forever to get over here.
The creep spray coming is gonna help a little bit, but I guess it doesn't. He's got all the time in the world. Like, Bunny's not really pushing his back soon, And with so many extra transfuses available, your queens don't have bad damage. They really don't. And the range is pretty fantastic. But he does get the Ravagers caught a little bit out of position. This times out really well because Bunny is going to find it before Snute gets his reinforcements all in that front line. Ravagers go down. Queens go down. It looks like he might just fend this off. His army supply is still fairly low, but it is far more effective than what Snute has on the field currently.
Yeah, I think this is game for Snoots, but we'll see how he can play out the defense. Bunny does immediately lift up. He's going to chase the queens. Please don't die to the queens.
Oh my god, if five queens in the middle of the map can deny drops, what does the world come to?
Right, but it doesn't. So now Snute knows that the drops are going forth. He's actually going to use this opportunity to, well, straight up lose his third, like he's kind of giving that up, but to attack and kind of turn it into a base trade, like...
Well, if he can keep the bunkers up, I mean, again, Bunny a little bit on the slack to the repairs here. Happened with the first bunker, happened with this bunker, happened to another bunker. Like, the bunker can hold for a while. Other side of the map.
Oh, the Mass Queen defense is so good.
It actually is, because it takes out the medevacs. And Marines and Marauders are okay units, but they only become great units when you have the medevacs to keep them alive.
If he doesn't get this third base, I'm just... there's transfuses. He's not going to get the third base. Oh my goodness gracious. He saved his own natural, though, so this wasn't so bad, but I just thought that this drop was going to do much more.
It is strange. This is not how I imagine this map playing out, or this game in particular. Far more scrappy back and forth.
Literally.
So, chat is being pretty ridiculous today. And
Right?
like, I feel like there's nothing I said that was, like, shitting on Nathanias, but if people want to take it as that...
Happen?
I'm not, you know what, this is where you start, like, borderlining sub mode. Just to not deal... Not to get distracted. Snute has... You know what? Who needs Mutalisk when you've got 7 queens, right? Except they don't move fast, and they will not be able to respond to this drop very effectively.
Also, they can't reach dead air, so...
Actually, there's not a lot of dead air on the map to have.
That's true, but more importantly,
with the deepest down. With the deepest down, maybe. The tank can be certainly carried around for a while.
Snute has, like, he's twice the supply, the arm supply of Bunny. They're on kind of even workers, which is hilarious, but I cannot believe that Bunny would lose this game. He loses this game. Oh my goodness.
Okay. He's got to hide that repairing bunker build for Friday.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry. That was not shots fired. I was just teasing. But, like, seriously, there was some mistakes with those bunkers, and this game could have not snowballed in any direction for Snute at all if those bunkers had stayed up. Like, that first bunker going down, the SCV's not auto-repair. That's not Bunny's fault. A lot of the time, that will cover the bunker. But them repairing each other instead of the bunker was the whole reason the bunker went down!
Oh, thanks to Tom.
It's clearly Tomb. How do you get Tom?
It's a 0 in the middle. Like, whatever. Tomb 4.
So then, if anything, it'd be like Ta and B.
Do you know how, like, when you read a donation, you don't read all of it, so you're always, like, caught off guard?
Tom B.
That's actually how I read subscribers. I'm just like,
Grove.
T-O-M. Oh, okay, it's Tomb.
It's Tom B. Grove.
Whatever, man.
All right, thank you very much for subscribing. Sorry. You've got me. This is the worst part. I do fine in a cast. You're the
I don't. Stop.
You always
stop trying to blame everything.
You always trigger the silly bugger mode. Okay, like it's like 100% always on you. I wasn't even reading chat.
You're easily triggered. Then.
I wasn't even reading chat, and you brought it. Oh.
What?
Anyways,
I did not bring up chat. You did.
No, you did.
No, I went to respond to chat.
No, you're like,
dude.
Dude, the phrase "dude."
Oh, that, but not with the whole like I didn't say anything mean or whatever. That was you.
We got Snute, I guess, and Bunny. Where they at?
Snute has to. Oh, he's back.
All right, so game number 3 coming up with Dusk Towers. After this game, we will give the players a small bit of a breather, of a break, regardless of whether it's a 3-0 or maybe it goes to 2-1. And, of course, then we'll have the finals of the group afterwards if that's the case. But either way, don't forget, we got the winners match of Naniwa versus Elazer still coming up after this. So let's finish off this series. Maybe here and now. Maybe Bunny fights back. Either way, it's Dusk Towers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Game number 3, and this could be the last one in the series. All depends on whether he can close it out here and now. In the bottom left, it's going to be the red Zerg player, Team Liquid's Snute.
In the top right, as the blue Terran, he's Liquid Bunny.
Of course, big thank you to Ting for making all this possible, sponsoring the event in all of his glory. We've had a lot of fun with him up to this point, and I can't wait to get into that round of 8. But we have a whole, I think a lot of people really don't, because they've been asking when the finals are, conceptualize how much is left. Like, there's 4 more groups, there's 5 more groups to play, because we got the European group number 2. Then we have the round of 16, which is, again, groups. Then we have the round of 8, which is going to be best of 5s, by the way, so still best of 5s over there. Then we're going to have the semifinals, which are both going to be best of 7s. Then the grand finals, which is a best of 9. So we got a flipping ton of stuff still coming up, guys.
Yeah, a lot more casting to do. We broke 7,000. Cool. I'm just gonna bring it up. Yep. Hooray!
Hey, I'm gonna get his name wrong again. Gareth Lewin popping in the chat. I think that's how you say it. He's one of these guys from Twitch who was absolutely a blast to hang out with and far too proper for me. It was raining, so he had an umbrella. It was actually a really nice umbrella, but the way he was holding it, it just looked like something out of like MI7 or MI5 or whatever British spy service thing's called.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's okay. Anyways, just shout out to him because he was a really cool dude to hang out with. Twitch party last night was just so fun. I had so much fun meeting people.
Is he so cool right now?
Well, so CK Walsh showed up with a little Tupperware container, one of our subscribers, and he's like, Rifkin, I want to give you what's inside this container. And I'm like, well, what is it? Why are you being so weird about it? He's like, no, you should just have it and you should eat it. I'm like, what is this, a treat? And it's fucking roasted garlic.
Oh my good god. Did you eat it?
No, I didn't eat it.
Roasted garlic is good.
It had nothing to do with being a vampire. Dude, I love CK Walsh. He's supported the channel in a lot of different ways, right? He subs and he's donated, but like, yo, some guy comes up to me that I've only met for the first time in my life and says, here, eat this roasted garlic. I'm not saying yes to that.
That is a good point. That is, yeah. I think I've actually been guilty of like eating cookies or whatever that people I don't know give to me, but if they're like, hey, I'm this person, I'm like, oh, I recognize you from Twitch chat, then I'm like, yeah, they're not strangers. This isn't stranger danger. Okay, I'll eat this cookie, but I really shouldn't.
Stranger danger. Okay, so for the way this opens up, Snute gets away with that third hatchery pretty easily. It's kind of to be expected. That's the way the matchup goes. For Bunny, third command center, again, not too bad, not too crazy. This is about as standard as I think it's going to get for passive openings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, both of these players do have cheesy builds in their back pocket. We've seen Bunny proxy before. We've seen Snute do ridiculous all-ins, but they do both tend to err on the side of macro. So seeing the game get the slower start, it's not so crazy. What I really am interested in is more the mid game, and more so on Snute's side as well. Because Bunny might still just do drops and be harassive and a little annoying, get Liberators out, you name it. In fact, I'm surprised he's not going for his classic Bunny build on this map, just as a point with the Liberators. But it is one of those things where if Snute is quick to hive, maybe it catches Bunny off guard. Did I just go Australian for a second there?
I think you did.
Maybe, mate. All right, well, Bunny. Anyways, so it is something where maybe it catches him off guard. We have been seeing a couple of very fast hive builds, like 8-minute hives and you name it. But at the same time, Snute might play Roach, Ravager, and Fester, which is a lot more common, and something I think Bunny can actually manage a lot easier.
Yeah. I mean, I've always thought that Roach Ravager was technically the easier one to deal with, just because, I don't know, it's more like numbers versus numbers. Well, tank micro too. But Muta Lane Blink can always get like messy, and Mutas can counterattack and links it in your bases and whatever. Actually, you know, Bjorn said that he thought Roach Ravager was easier to beat. Where's Bjorn gone?
It's Roach Ravager, I think it's easier to beat. It's Roach Ravager and Fester that becomes difficult. Although I will still say, my opinion on this hasn't swayed. I feel like Roach Ravager Corruptor is still one of the stronger builds.
Well, this drop is forced to drop in a pretty inconvenient location.
That was some retrade there on that
yeah.
line, I gotta say.
And the Widow Mine's not really close enough to endanger the mineral line, so not a big deal. Snute is going to that Spire, which is expected on Dusk Towers, and I'm sure Bunny knows about it. Bunny has a third CC. His stim just starts up. Looks like he's going into tanks here, which is fine. But it's all about that timer. As, oh my god, Snute goes for a Baneliness Aspire and an Infestation Pit.
He just kind of... I feel like he just took like a shotgun approach to tech.
He like forgot everything and placed it all at once.
This is kind of the spread of a shotgun blast right here if you look at it the right way.
That is... I mean, it's not bad, really, because you know that if they went for 3cc, and I think he did know that, they're not going to be attacking you for quite some time. It doesn't mean that their attack is easy to defend. Like, it's still very hard when the Terran actually is able to push out, but if you can get to the point that you want to be at before it happens, then it doesn't matter, and that point happens to be Ultras.
Oh, CK Walsh happens to be in champ, by the way.
He gets... Yes. Congratulations, CK Walsh. Well, nicely done. But he gets a hive before he gets Baneling Speed or Mutas.
I love this out of Snute. This is what I was talking about. He might go for that really fast hive build. Like, you come up on the hive for 8 minutes, boom. You catch your opponent so off guard by this. Because who does this? And Bunny, every time we see this sort of hive to ultra build, Terran players get that sweet timing where they push in and you're like, cool, 10 minutes, here I go, because I know this is about hive timing. But going for this about like a minute and a half earlier, for Snute's sake, this actually lets him get away with it, and maybe he won't have to deal with that awkward push that kills Zerg because they just don't have the supply for it, right?
Yeah. And there's, like, what's so frustrating as Bunny right here is that even if you scouted it, you're not going to push without stim and combat shields. That's what he's really waiting on. So... It's going to be hard for him to actually do anything. I think that Snute is going to be able to get to Ultras, and Bunny's going to be crying all the way home.
Well, I don't know about how much he'd be crying. He might be a
and
little frustrated.
He's also already at home, so...
Yeah, he hasn't got an IEM yet.
That was just all types are wrong.
She's just being mean. It's not good.
No, being mean would be like, you're going to cry all the way home? You're going to cry to daddy? That would be mean. And I don't think he's going to do that.
Alright, well, that's a considerable amount of banelings without speed, but it's about to kick in. Ultra Cavern does begin. I was actually going to bring up the question, because he hadn't started it yet. I was wondering if he was actually going to go Greater Spire, like he had tried to before.
Oh, with Roach Ravager? Yeah. And he can add it on, honestly. Like, he's going to have Ultras with plating. He's going to be able to get such a bank when Bunny's, like, tries to push out and realizes Ultras are out. Like, oh god, no. And then he could go up to a Greater Spire. That is a 8-minute Ultras Cavern.
Yeah, so again, I just really want to stress how incredibly fast this comes out. Bunny, who's still, in fairness here, a Widowmine shot here and there, Liberators and tanks, these are things that can deal with Ultralists when there's 1 or 2 at a time, and you don't have, even with Chitinous plating, like 1 or 2 or 3, 5, like you don't need a lot to deal with small amounts of Ultras. But it's when Snute has those 5 Ultras with a maxed out Ling army on the back of it, and Mutalisks, and Banelings to go with it, that's when it becomes really problematic. So Bunny's still, I'm not feeling too bad for him yet. I'm not even worried for him just yet. But it does come to the point where, A, I don't think he'll take a 4th. Like, he's making the command center. If he does, it's going to be hard to hold. Because Snute is like a whole tier above him, literally, right now.
Yeah. The creep spread here is pretty good too, and the Ultras are certainly going to have enough time to get their plating. Not so much the 2-2 upgrades, but we have a counterattack that's going to kill Drilling Claws. Maybe a blessing in disguise. I don't think he really needs to go for Drilling Claws in this game. But it does take out the Tech Lab, so no more tanks.
I mean, Drilling Claws are kind of like... They're a bit of a blessing when you're dealing with Banelings, but so can tanks be. But I think he'd rather have the Widowmines go off on the Banelings than the tanks go off on the Ultras. It might be a slot process with it. Either way, yeah, it is denied, so a little unfortunate there. Chitinous plating now done means the Marines can only tickle the Ultras at best, shoot them with their feather darts.
Mm-hmm. The supply here is looking better for Bunny, but Snute has such a bank, it's just, a matter of, well, not being supply blocked, first of all, and then actually using that larva. He'll have well-upgraded units, and his mutas did retreats, so they can start taking care of these drops.
These Ultras are just going to wreck. There's actually nothing Bunny can do about this. Like, it's probably not even worth stutter-stepping the Marines. Like, the actual actions used on these units are a bit wasted.
A little bit. Now, we already had the 4th put down and Liberators being made, so he does have a defensive setup against the Ultralisk, but the thing is, the Snute, with such a bank, could double expand, get to Broodlords. He doesn't really have to attack and risk throwing away his Ultras. But he is. He's going to force the lift off on the 4th base, probably. No Corruptors to deal with these Liberators. The Widowmines do not have Drilling Claws, and they just die anyways.
The Liberators, though, have no Lings soaking up their hits, so the Liberators are pushing back the Ultras. He wanted to go back for that command center. Bunny says, no, I see what you want to do. It's not happening. He lifts it. He stops the attack.
Yeah. Bunny had like a 2,000, 1,000 bank and has used all of it, and not with a double expand like I thought it was going to, just with a single replacement. Yeah, didn't end up killing the command center, even though he could have with the mutas. That's quite disappointing. There is the second base in pocket.
We got the Fusion Core coming up too, by the way.
Yeah, that Liberator range. Seems like every single Terran has just admitted to each other, agreed with each other that Liberator is the way to go over Ghosts, but both are not super fantastic.
It definitely has everything to do with, like, not that Ghosts are bad, it's that Zerg have figured out how to deal with them. Everyone's going Infestors, you're getting less fungal growth, and you can't get those snipes anymore. Take it back, like, 2 months ago, snipes were, in the eyes, I think, of Zerg, not possible to deal with at all.
Thanks, not Dominish, for 3 months in a row. Woo!
I wonder who that is.
I don't know.
I think it's literally not Dominish.
So the problem with that is that, like, in the same way as they figured out Ghosts with Fungals, they're going to figure out Liberators with Corruptors. So that's what we saw yesterday and 2 days ago. So the only again, whatever we cast on Friday, was just that Corruptors could be made. Because you already have the Spire, so they do it good enough against the Liberators. They can tank the Marine hits on the ground. You start running into a problem where you don't have any Medivacs too, as all of your air is going into Liberators. I mean, I think Snute has not put this game out the best that he could, to be honest. And if Bunny wins, I'd actually argue it's because of that. Like, he's thrown away a lot of Ultras where he could have just defended and gotten 2 bases and another big bank, and it just didn't have to be that way. Like, he could have gone to a greater Spire.
I not only agree with you, but I'll take it one step further where Snute had a lot of timing to take advantage of too. Like the fact that you're like surprised it's Ultras, and instead he was chasing down groups of Marines up here instead of just destroying Bunny on the other side of the map.
Well, with whatever it was that's led to this point, it is the point where it's going to go into a very long game. Bunny's actually going to be able to get to both techs, since, he's been on a good economy and a bit of a bank. So both Ghosts and Liberators, as well as Bio. Defensively, I don't think he's ever going to be broken, especially without Corruptors from Snute. But offensively, the control here necessary, it just feels like, you could mess up in one instance where I feel like the Zerg doesn't really have that possibility of a mistake. But we'll see. He is trying to push out just to defend his 4th, or his 5th rather, and Snute's trying to deny it. No Corruptors, though, is really just like, I don't think Snute can do it without those. And now, if he went in with Corruptors first, that's where the snipes would actually be beautiful. Yeah. Not even on those Ultras.
Agreed. And the nice thing about the sensor tower is it lets him reposition in time to deal with a lot of this ideally. The cannon on the planetary is going to deal with a lot of those Lings. The Ultras get fried up by the Liberators, but he still gets the planetary.
Yeah, well, Lings, they do have a lot of good upgrades. They have adrenal glands. It's just, they'll tear him down real quick, And luckily he did pull his Ultras back before they could all die to that extreme Liberator count. In fact, that Liberator count is getting to so much. 15 Liberators. He will have to take this as an anti-air game, It's going to be a lot more about dealing with his Liberators with, parasitic bombs and fungals and Corruptors than it is about necessarily taking on the ground army, which for Bunny is, it's now the fodder for the Liberators and the Ghosts. It's not even going to be healed that much. 2 Medivacs.
Well, this is, what's funny about this is it's no longer that Bunny or Snute are particularly ahead of each other. It's the fact that they do have equal capabilities to play this game. And the scary thing is, for both sides of this, they could both lose it in an instance if they mess up.
We
got some Adrenal Gland Lings going to drop.
I love this.
This is clever. Because, of course, Adrenal Gland Lings, the best thing with +3 they're good against is buildings. And if you hit a Terran in the weak spot, hit them when they're maxed out and they're not rallying units forward.
Yeah, they're also going to have a tough time. Liberators going to have a tough time to actually come back here, siege up, and actually catch the Lings. And, killing them at one at a time. They're pretty slow at that. So getting on top of maybe keyer structures, maybe that army should have gone down first, something like that. But Snute is doing other things. He broke down the rocks, I assume, to try and take the gold, anticipating this could go up to, fully mined out.
Yeah, interesting though, because that gold base may or may not favor him opposed to the other one. I was gonna say though, what I would have loved to see with that drop, like still do the 16 lings, but then add in one ultra just to buy time at the ramp while his lings go ham on everything.
Yeah, it could also be a trap if you ever get those parasitic bombs out. Yeah, imagine a drop of lings, 2 infestors, and then like ravagers even too. Like all these things would be able to take out clumped up liberators that are moving place to place too quickly to spread out.
I mean, I do love the concept of what Snute's doing here with the harass. I think it's really cool. I think it's awesome. I think it's actually going to be effective if Bunny keeps getting caught off guard by it. I mean, replacing production is not something you actively think about this late in the game. You just kind of assume you're good to go.
Yeah. I think it's a necessity, actually, as his not ground to ground, but army to army is always going to be questionable. The defender has the extreme advantage for both of them here. Like, if Bunny ever pushes out, Snute's going to have the advantage of catching the Liberators off guard. There are a couple parasitic bombs. The snipe's going down, though. And parasitic bomb not as strong as it used to be. And the Liberators this time were, a little spread out, so not so bad.
I wonder if you could out-repair a parasitic bomb. If you had, not even a lot. Just, say 6 SCVs on a Liberator.
I feel like you could.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Never tried. Another planetary could go down if he focused on it. Use the Corruptors even. Looks like Bunny's trying to cover the retreat path, which is a good idea.
He's got a lot of ghosts. Snipes going off like crazy. Corruptor's just falling. This leaves the Liberators alive to deal with the Ultras. Shots getting fired on those Ultras from the Snipes, and Snute sacrifices an army for one base. I don't know that was worth it.
And he did not have that much of a bank. 65 drones is nearly not that bad, but I think when it's like you recognize it's going to get to this stupidly late stage, going up to 80 and getting a bank first feels like it's sometimes the better way to play. But Snute has been trying to just make engagements that aren't going to work, didn't work.
I love this playstyle of the Bunny, though. I really do. Like the ghosts, which we intuitively see against Ultras, being used specifically against the Corruptors. The Liberators have the ability and the freedom to deal with the Ultras is so cool to me. But also at the same time, if Snute's got a lot of Broodlings, if he's got a lot of Lings, the Liberators might not actually be shooting the Ultras. They might be shooting a lot of useless units as well. So still, I think Bunny's got this at this point because Snute's just struggling to even remax.
Yeah.
But this was a cool game out of Bunny from someone who could have gotten caught off guard by an 8-minute hive, but didn't.
Right? Like, I really thought that was going to go absolutely in Snute's favor. A couple of parasitic bombs do reach the majority of those Liberators.
GG. Congratulations to Bunny. He will not fall so easily. But this does mean we are going to hit up a small break, guys, as we go towards a Ting commercial. I don't know which one to load here. We'll do the compatibility checker so you guys can get to see Kyra's lovely, adorable face. So stick around and we'll see you guys soon.
In the top left, as the blue Terran, he is Bunny. And it's a good thing he realized it was Hive Tech, otherwise he would have attempted a push-outs that, our second push-out too, that would have really destroyed him. The first one was cleaned up, but it did kill a fourth, and it wasn't even the majority of his army, so I think other Terrans might have overcommitted and made a mistake, but Snute's, actually, I don't know, that late game army from Bunny was so good, I don't actually want to blame Snute, but Snute's mid-game was a lot of throwing away Ultras. No? Oh. He might. He did do the Roach Ravager push on Laralac. Yeah. Well, he's got the setup for it, but he's also got the setup for like a macro game in general, right? With speed and queens on the way. We're gonna see how many extra queens he gets and if he does get that Evo chamber in the next minute or two. Bunny is probably well versed in this map and what it can happen, but even if you know it's coming, it'll still be hard to deal with. There we see Overload speed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think
Fuck, I've been muted. Damn it! Why am I doing this so much lately?
I don't know. I don't know. I actually can't even TLDR this. He asked me if I thought this was gonna happen. It actually did happen. So I'm gonna guess correctly.
It's what, I make my best analysis when I'm muted. That's what it needs to be. So when people are saying Rifkin needs to mute his mic, they're not just being dicks. They're like, actually, hey, Rifkin will become the best cast in the universe by muting his mic.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. So we went over what this will entail. It entails queens and lings. The initial attack of lings here, not really necessary for Snutes, but it can start, putting Bunny off guard. He can start, over-dedicating to the defense of the front and forget entirely about the main. Where he did go for a third CC, this, I would think, would mean that Snute has a better chance of winning. But his overload drops are only now commencing, and they're actually going towards the natural as opposed to the main.
Yeah, that tank is actually, with the queen sitting on top of the tank, is going to be a better problem. He's gonna scoop up some lings, drops them on top of the tank as well. Transfuses are looking fantastic. As I said, once he breaks this, it stays broken, but it's not been broken yet. Bunny's actually gonna lose that tank. Unfortunate, but he did clean up a lot of lings. One of the queens went down. Goes down there. There we go. It's still not a great spot for Snute because Bunny's still got a considerable amount of workers behind. Oh, picks up the queen. I like that. I like that. So this did some great damage. There's no questioning that, but it hasn't actually won Snute the game.
No, it does not. The fact that no lings got into the main base was something that they usually do, and it gets really messy, and they get kills over there too. It was just those queens on top of the tank, so I don't know if you could say that execution is bad. If they got the command center, it would totally be great, but there's their repair on those SEVs. Yeah. And I don't know how this game goes on. Usually we see it just win.
So, again, apologies for the mic mute, guys. I can't. I'm telling you, before we brought Fear Dragon on to BaseTradeTV, it wasn't a problem. So I'm just gonna... lowest common denominator, blame him. But Snoot's going for round 2, Zamriab, and he's not taking this lightly. This is Banelings. He's gonna Bane Rain with queens for round 2.
Ooh, that's fun. That's real fun. Now it's just a second all in, it's such low drones, no third base. Bunny has low SCVs, but he has 3 CC and mules, so he is still fine if he can defend against this. And I don't know if you really want to. Baneling drop on tanks? Nah. Maybe the bunker. Certainly the Marines, if they can catch them. But the tanks got to be dealt with those lings.
Well, the Banelings will take care of all the Marines. No questioning that. I thought maybe he might use them for SCVs, but the fact that he consolidates all this...
Yeah, focus fire that one. Overlord was nice.
He did, but there's still the problem with the bunker, and Snute used up a lot of Banelings on the Marines, so he actually doesn't have the capabilities to necessarily break the bunker. But if he breaks the tanks, that's just as good, because that bunker doesn't have a lot of damage inside it. He can transfuse these queens. GG!
So good.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, Snute will take the series 3-1, sadly knocking Bunny out of the group. So rest in peace, Bunny, and have a great time at IEM, man. We will be cheering for you. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. But I'll try and keep an eye on my mic for the rest of the cast. I did this intentionally, too. It was game 2, series of Bunny and Naniwa. I looked and I was like, am I going to mute my mic? No. So it is what it is. You know what, though? I will say this. I don't do this on purpose, guys. And for everyone who's in chat, complaining, Zombie needs to read the chat, let Rifka know. The second we pick up on it, we fix it every single time. But there's a stream delay to prevent cheating, so it's not like easy to do, unfortunately. At any rate, folks, that does knock Bunny out. Snute will now move on to the finals of the group. And the next matchup is going to be Naniwa versus a laser. Now, we do have to talk on this really quick before we get into it. We've made special note of server swapping. Naniwa, being made aware of this, has been a little bit proactive about requesting it. So we're going to coin flip, not just for map vetoes and picks, because it is like, you know, AB, AB, veto, AB, AB, A, pick, but also we're going to now have to veto a little bit for, a coin flip, excuse me, for server preference. So Europe first or America first, back and forth, back and forth. Naniwa appears to have disappeared, though.
Yeah, I looked for him on NA, he's not there.
He may have gone to play a game or something. We'll give him a minute or two to get it sorted while we figure out what's going on. But okay, we talked a lot about rates and things today for TING. I don't remember if we've actually played the commercial for the ad rates yet. I think that's the one we'll do next. So to talk on that point before we go, not ad rates, excuse me, the monthly rates. TING is a phone company, for those who haven't picked up on it at this point. We've hopefully drilled this into your brain at this point. But for those who don't know, TING is a US mobile phone service, and they don't have plans. They use rates, and it's specifically to pay for what you use. So if you use less, you pay less. So you might have a one really expensive month one month and a one really cheap month the next month. It all goes on how much you actually use. So for TING's sake, that's great for them for business, and for you guys, hopefully we'll save you some bucks each month. But we are going to go to a word from our sponsors while we try and hunt down Naniwa, and we'll get Naniwa versus the laser going ASAP. So stick around, guys, and we'll see you soon.